They believed that by betraying you, they could shatter your spirit, that their departure would lead to your downfall. They wore smiles as they turned away, convinced they held the upper hand, yet they remained oblivious. The instant they severed your access, they unwittingly forfeited their own shield. Their facade faltered, their pretense crumbled, and life, with its quiet ruthlessness, began to tally the consequences. You remained silent. You did not pursue, you simply vanished and reconstructed all that they believed they had shattered. Now you stand as the embodiment of their doubts, unyielding, impervious, and soaring high above their grasp. Today, let us embark on a journey to uncover the true events that unfold when an individual betrays a virtuous soul and life imparts. A lesson that eclipses the notion of revenge. Viewed through the prism of Stoic insight, emotional depth, and subtle strength, it transcends mere betrayal. It becomes a journey of profound transformation. Greetings and salutations to Stoic Evolution. Let us commence. Those who turn their backs on you seldom glance over their shoulders. They stroll away, convinced of their victory, leaving you in the shadows, broken and filled with shame. Yet, what remains unseen is the tempest they've ignited in silence, not the tempest they anticipate. Not fury, not disorder, but the subtle kind, the kind that simmers within, gradually, persistently, until it transforms into strength. Betrayal, you see, does more than inflict pain. It fundamentally alters something within you. The initial wound often originates from those you allow to draw near. The most profound injuries often arise not from the hands of strangers, but from those who once cradled your trust as if it were a cherished treasure, only to let it fall as though it were of no value at all. And that is precisely what renders betrayal so utterly devastating. It's not merely their actions. It's the profound inquiries they stirred within you regarding love, loyalty, your value, and even the reliability of your own judgment. In the stillness, you ponder, how could I have missed the signs? Was I truly that oblivious? Was this truly my fate? Yet the reality is, you were not naive. Your authenticity shone through. You have not encountered failure. Indeed, they did. They neglected to respect the space you offered them. They could not ascend to the heights of your unwavering loyalty. In the realm of Stoicism, one discovers that pain serves as the initial instructor. Marcus Aurelius penned, "If you find yourself troubled by anything outside of you, the anguish does not stem from the external matter itself, but rather from your perception of it." The act of betrayal does not determine your essence. Rather, it is the manner in which you navigate through it that shapes your identity. You might allow it to shatter you, or you might choose to let it forge you into someone more profound, more insightful, more serene, and more astute. The Stoics engaged in such practices. Revenge was not their pursuit. Closure was not a necessity. For them, they transformed their suffering into a sculpted reflection of who they could become. A moment forever altered, never to be experienced in the same manner again. A tale we know all too well. Perhaps it belongs to you as well. Envision this. You poured your heart and soul into another person. The moment belongs to you, your candor, the essence of your vitality, and then one day they disappear. Or, even more troubling, betray you. They weave a narrative in which you emerge as the antagonist. In an instant, those you once considered friends vanish without a trace. There is no need for elaboration. No opportunity to express your perspective, only silence. Chilling, measured stillness. Your gaze lingers on the screen, anticipation hanging in the air, hoping for a question to break the silence. What transpired? Not a single soul does. Thus, you find yourself amidst the remnants of what once was. Not merely of the relationship, but of the illusion itself. The belief that love is an unwavering shield. The deceptive notion that loyalty is a two-way street. The misconception that virtuous souls remain unscathed. What they never anticipated was this: they believed you would plead. They believed you would pursue. They believed you would succumb to sleepless nights, engulfed by sorrow, spiraling into fragility. Yet, what they failed to foresee was your quiet ascent. They were unprepared for your sudden disappearance, not from a place of resentment but from a sense of understanding. Not driven by anger, but by a sense of self-respect. They were unprepared for your ability to transform pain into fuel, to draw strength from the silence. They certainly never anticipated your return. Not for their sake, but for your own. The essence of your strength has never resided in the response. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, the pinnacle of virtue is not found in mere strength. It is the art of mastering oneself. In the face of betrayal, the true strength lies not in seeking revenge. It is a matter of restraint. You refrain from lashing out. You refrain from composing posts filled with anger. You refrain from revealing their true nature. You lingered in the presence of your suffering. You allowed it to ignite and consume itself, and then you allow it to reshape your very essence. That is the sort of anguish that remains unseen. The one that transforms into existence, the one that transforms into meaning. And here lies the unexpected turn. The pain was essential. Indeed, you heard correctly. Had they not betrayed you, perhaps, you would still be contorting yourself in their favor, continuing to clarify your position, continuing to diminish in order to elevate their sense of importance, continuing to invest in a person who was quietly depleting your energy. Their treachery was a sharp knife, yet it severed the tether that stifled your development. Embrace the pain without regret. Do not let it slip through your fingers. Respect it, for it was through that pain that your transformation commenced. Let us establish a fundamental point right from the outset. Their treachery was not a reflection of your actions. It wasn't due to your overwhelming presence. It was never a matter of your worth. It was due to their inability to manage the brilliance you illuminated the space with. Individuals do not invariably turn against you due to your shortcomings. They turn against you when you cease to be pliable. The intricate dynamics of betrayal psychology, deceit often arises not from animosity, it frequently arises from a place of fear, apprehension regarding your development, apprehension regarding your expectations, anxiety regarding your sense of security. In reality, there are individuals who find themselves ensnared by the allure of chaos. They flourish amidst the chaos of drama, the intricacies of manipulation, and the entanglements of codependency. And when they come to understand that you are beginning to think independently, voice your own opinions, and establish your own boundaries, they become unsettled. You transform into someone unrecognizable. You transform into a reflection, a mirror, that reveals every facet of themselves they are yet to face. Rather than confronting that unease, they flee, they undermine, they deceive. Their insecurity was the focus, not your identity. Keep this in mind. The disloyalty of another speaks volumes about their character, serving as a testament to who they are rather than a judgment of your own value. Imagine a scenario where you embody kindness, generosity, and unwavering support. You arrived, remained steadfast, and offered opportunities anew. Yet they turned away, or even more treacherously, plunged a knife into your back. One can effortlessly absorb that notion. Perhaps I am the source of the issue. Perhaps I invest too much of myself. You attended to the matter with precision. They simply lacked the emotional depth to appreciate it. You existed authentically in a realm that celebrates the artificial. In a realm ensnared by turmoil, you stood as a beacon of stability. You're unwavering. Nature cast a shadow over someone whose existence thrived on unpredictability, an authentic illustration. The companion who was unable to honor your achievements. Allow me to conclude with a narrative that resonates deeply. You had a companion from your childhood. You faced challenges side by side, shed tears in unison, and offered unwavering support during difficult moments. Yet, a transformation began to unfold within you, enhancing, ascending to new heights, fresh fragments, a more wholesome option. clearer perspective, you ceased the idle chatter. You ceased to endure the repetitive cycles of emotion. And in an instant, they withdrew from one another. What is the reason behind this? Your progress evoked a sense of abandonment in them. Not due to the way you diminished them, but rather because they chose not to evolve alongside you. One day they vanished without a trace, or they whispered in the shadows, or they portrayed it as though you had transformed for the worse. Conclude the stanza, ultimately, their betrayal stemmed from your transformation into a person beyond their grasp. The perspective of Stoicism. Please don't take it to heart. Approach it with earnestness. Socrates once remarked that when an individual behaves poorly, it is because they have deemed such actions to be justifiable. In essence, individuals frequently betray not from a place of malice, but rather because they have rationalized their actions as warranted. Perhaps they believe they have risen above me now. I shall inflict pain upon them before they surpass my grasp. I find myself wary of the constant comparisons to their achievements. Their decision was driven not by reason, but by a sense of pride. What about you? The aftermath leaves you in a state of disbelief, not merely of their actions, but of the motivations behind them. It was a veil of protection, cleverly concealed. At first glance, it may elude your notice. Yet, as time unfolds, you will come to understand that betrayal served as a sacred sieve. It eliminated an individual who could not join your gathering without tainting the feast. They were never destined to linger for the unfolding of the next chapter. Their betrayal marked not an end, but a new beginning. It was a revision. At times, life takes away not as a form of retribution, but rather as a safeguard for your well-being. Let go of the reasons. A definitive answer may forever elude you. They may never utter the words, "I was wrong." And that is perfectly fine. Stoicism imparts the wisdom that one does not require an apology from others to find healing. You simply require your resolve to cease the flow of pain inflicted by those who wound you without a second thought. When you find yourself doubting your value due to their betrayal, hold on to this truth. Their actions were not a reflection of your strength or weakness. They turned against you as your strength began to grow. In every healing journey, there comes a moment of profound clarity when you understand that argument is unnecessary. No explanation is necessary. Closure is not a necessity for you. You simply fall into silence. What of that silence? It is not a sign of frailty. It's not evasion. It is strength. When you cease to engage with the chaos, you halt the nourishment of the very force that was depleting you. The fear of silence among narcissists and toxic individuals is a complex phenomenon. For those who yearn for dominion, your quietude becomes the most formidable menace. They flourish in the midst of emotional reactions, the act of self-defense, and the quest for understanding. It imparts to them a feeling of significance. Yet, as soon as you fall silent, their hold begins to wane. They are powerless to influence what remains beyond their perception. Words that were never uttered cannot be contorted. A mind that has chosen to step away from their game remains beyond their reach. And that fills them with dread. You transform into a reflection they struggle to confront. In moments of silence, the distractions fade away. You have ceased to mask their void with your vitality. In an instant, they find themselves in solitude. In solitude. No one to hold accountable. There is no one to incite. There is no one to cast my thoughts upon. It resembles placing a narcissist before a reflective surface. Yet, rather than perceiving their own reflection in your responses, they are compelled to confront the reality they have long evaded. Allow me to present a thought. There are those who would choose to shatter a mirror rather than confront their own reflection. Moment from life that may feel familiar to you. Chances are you've experienced this before. A message arrives, laden with accusations, or a call designed to provoke you into justifying your actions. Or a note from someone who suddenly recalls your value just as you cease to reply. In that fleeting instant, a whisper of temptation brushes against your resolve. You seek to craft the ideal retort, to elucidate, to amend, to substantiate your position, yet you do not. The phone slips from your grasp, landing softly on the table. Inhale, exhale. The silence becomes your voice. That signifies progress. Such is the essence of self-mastery. And they experience it profoundly. A steadfast perspective, speak less, signify greater depth. Socrates expressed that it is not the events themselves that unsettle us, but rather the meanings we ascribe to them. Your tranquility remains untouched by the words of others. It is your choice to absorb them that disrupts your serenity. Your response lends significance to their words. In moments of silence, you diminish their influence. The Stoics did not embody passivity. Every action they took was deliberate. They remained unresponsive to various stimuli. They replied solely when it resonated with principles of virtue. Reason and self-mastery, silence transcends mere avoidance. It represents a boundary. The reality is this: there are individuals who no longer merit the privilege of hearing your words, not as a form of punishment, but as a means of safeguarding your own well-being. Your silence speaks volumes. It conveys that I no longer yearn for approval from those who fail to recognize my worth. I choose not to engage in conflicts that hold no value for victory. I prioritize my own energy above the tumult you bring. That isn't cold at all. That is clarity. What unfolds next? They twist and turn in a mesmerizing dance. Typically, when you choose to withdraw your voice from a manipulative individual, a series of predictable events unfolds. Initially, they ridicule you. So it seems I have been cast aside in your thoughts. Next, they prod. It seems you lack the bravery to confront this challenge. Subsequently, they employ guilt as a weapon. After all I sacrificed for you, at last, they are consumed by panic. They come to understand that they have not only lost access to you, but also the influence they once wielded over you. And thus, the game reaches its conclusion, not through vengeance, without the theatrics, yet, accompanied by a choice, you have stepped away from the suffering they inflicted. Silence is not the absence of meaning. It signifies the utmost importance. Let us clarify. Embracing silence does not equate to a lack of emotion. It signifies that you have experienced profound emotions, and you have chosen to prioritize tranquility over the need to assert your perspective. You have ceased your pursuit of justice from those entrenched in their own denial. It signifies that you have moved beyond the desire to engage in disputes. Your journey begins with the reclaiming of your life. Should the urge to voice your thoughts arise, keep this in mind. Prior to responding to that message, before you share that status, before you allow your emotions to take control, consider this. Will this reply bring me tranquility or merely reignite the cycle? Release what does not resonate with your healing journey, your core values, or your emotional awareness. At times, the most powerful statement one can make is to remain silent. They believed they had escaped unscathed. The deceit, the treachery, the cunning machinations. They strolled away as if nothing had transpired. Your suffering felt like mere collateral damage. Your silence felt like an admission of defeat. Yet what they overlooked is that life invariably maintains a record of all transactions. What about karma? She arrives quietly, without fanfare or spectacle. She arrives with a quiet precision, almost surgical in her approach. It may not always be visible, yet its presence will resonate within you. As the facade starts to falter. As the individuals they influenced begin to doubt their own reality. As they gradually begin to inhabit the chaos of their own making, wisdom of the Stoics. Karma embodies the principle of cause and effect, devoid of any mystical elements. The Stoics held no faith in the notion of magical justice. They held a firm belief in the natural order of things, understanding that each action sows a seed that will inevitably bear fruit. The outcome of growth is intricately tied to the seeds that were sown. Aristotle proclaimed that each guilty individual becomes their own executioner, and signifies that no one can evade the burden of their own conscience. There is no necessity for punishment. Life will unfold as it should. In the shadows of deceit, one finds that the fabric of lies eventually weaves itself into the very essence of existence. When an individual turns their back on those who stood by them, they forge a reality in which trust becomes a distant memory. When they toy with the hearts of others, they find themselves emotionally impoverished, encircled by reflections they cannot bear to confront. You'll recognize the arrival of karma when they begin to unravel from within. Initially, it may lack drama, yet the indications are invariably present. Relationships in their vicinity begin to crumble, not due to misfortune, but as a result of flawed character. They flit from one job to another, from one friendship to the next, perpetually casting blame on others. They find themselves tormented by the very reputation they crafted, unable to uphold the facade any longer. They attempt to re-enter your existence. At last, the world has come to recognize the truth you discerned long before anyone else. One will notice the fissures. You will sense the unraveling, not out of a desire for their ruin, but rather due to their own design of demise, a true narrative. The narcissists who believed they had triumphed. Allow me to present a well-known illustration. Envision a man who, for years, wove a web of emotional manipulation around his partner. Manipulation, deceit, and a veneer of humor that conceals underlying malice. She ultimately departed, embraced silence, and crafted a life of tranquility. While he initially found amusement in it all, she will return. She consistently does nothing. Yet on this occasion, she refrained. Initially, he swiftly filled the void, flaunting a new romance on social media, feigning an upgrade in his life, yet, in the shadows, it fell apart. For he did not merely lose a woman. He misplaced a mirror that had once bestowed upon him a sense of strength. With every fresh endeavor to substitute her, his vision sharpened further. She was not the one who was broken. It was indeed him. Years later, he endeavored to convey a message, an apology, a lingering sense of guilt. Yet by that point, her silence had evolved beyond mere phases. It stood as an unyielding divide. That was the day fate made its entrance. It appeared devoid of any semblance of revenge. It appeared as though her happiness, her development, her tranquility. Karma does not require your observation. It calls for your release. There's no need to linger in anticipation for their descent. That does not embody the essence of Stoicism. That is a manifestation of ego. Genuine emotional intelligence signifies a detachment from the pursuit of karma. It inspires confidence. You elevate yourself beyond the fixation on results and concentrate on what lies within your grasp. Your commitment, your limits, your value. The resilient transformation from victim to victor. In their act of betrayal, they believed they had shattered your spirit. Yet what they failed to grasp is that the essence of Stoic wisdom turns the narrative on its head. You have not been defeated. Have attained a profound mental clarity, an unwavering emotional resilience, a deep spiritual strength, and the liberating ability to reconstruct your life free from their turmoil. Their karma observes as you flourish in a realm where their deceit finds no sustenance. Your tranquility speaks volumes of justice. Here is the wisdom that the Stoics would impart. Your tranquility serves as your testament. Your quietude speaks volumes. Your assent is your solution. There is no need to demonstrate their errors. You must demonstrate that your strength has always been unwavering, and the moment you cease to wish for their suffering is the moment you achieve true victory. Nothing unsettles a manipulator quite like the moment they come to understand that their ability to disrupt you has vanished. You are not obligated to respond, not even with a touch of sarcasm. This is not a trivial matter. Not a hushed caution to our shared acquaintances. You are not indebted to them in any way. Within that void lies the most heart-wrenching revelation. Of all, they have lost their significance. The principles of Stoic philosophy, indifference embodies strength rather than mere inaction. To the untrained mind, indifference may appear as a sign of weakness. Yet for the Stoic, it embodies the pinnacle of strength. Marcus Aurelius penned, "You possess dominion over your thoughts, not the occurrences beyond your control. Recognize this truth and you shall discover your inner strength." Indifference is not the same as apathy. It is clarity. You have chosen to free yourself from the emotional turmoil inflicted by those who flourish in disorder. You observe their antics, you see through their deceit, yet you opt out of the game. That is not a sign of weakness. That is the essence of evolution. What is the true price of seeking revenge? Let us speak candidly. The allure of retribution is undeniably enticing. You envision the instant they grasp the weight of your suffering. You contemplate the phrases you would articulate, the retribution you might deliver in a chilling manner, yet what does it truly offer you? A fleeting elevation, a fleeting glimpse of fairness, a swift stroke to your pride. What happens next? You find yourself once again immersed in the mire, reliving those conversations, contemplating excessively, justifying your essence to those unworthy of your authenticity from the outset. The cost of vengeance is your tranquility, and that is perpetually beyond reach. A tale from the world we inhabit, the silent woman. Allow me to unfold a tale that may resonate with you. A woman discovered that her partner was unfaithful, entangled not with just one, but multiple others. Her universe crumbled in an instant. Yet, rather than erupting, she gathered her belongings quietly. She departed quietly without a struggle. She remained silent in the public eye. Neither vengeance, neither rumor nor idle chatter. No grand departure. Half a year later, she found herself in a new position, a more vibrant physique. A tranquil abode, and had embarked on the journey of therapy. In the meantime, what about her former partner? Isolated. Wrestling with challenges, attempting to articulate to others the reasons behind his loss of something truly valuable. Her silence inflicted wounds deeper than 1,000 furious messages ever could. The strength lies in apathy. Why it inflicts deeper wounds than anger ever could. Have you ever pondered what truly unsettles toxic individuals? When they come to understand that their current company holds no significance for you, you no longer peruse their narratives. You do not ponder the possibilities of what could have been. You hold no hatred towards them. One simply experiences an absence of emotion. To an individual who once thrived on your feelings, your apathy transcends mere rejection. It is a form of erasure. They have ceased to occupy space in your thoughts without cost. Their inability to regain that emotional strength is the singular wound from which they cannot heal. From mere existence to the art of self-mastery, you once responded, due to the pain you experienced. For the reason that you failed to grasp the why, your desire for answers drove you forward. Yet, at this moment, an apology is unnecessary. Their perspective is unnecessary. There's no necessity for them to confess to anything. You have transitioned from merely surviving to mastering yourself. Thus, it signifies that you refrain from expending energy on demonstrating their errors. You dedicate your time to evolving into the person you were destined to become. Your growth becomes the most resounding response they will always remember. Should you find yourself drawn to the notion of retribution, keep this in mind. Contemplate whether this choice will nurture my spirit or merely satisfy my pride. Whether it involves foreclosure, seeking peace, or reclaiming your power, pursue it quietly and with determination. Before you act to provoke, to share, or to claim victory in the aftermath, take a moment to reflect. At times, the most satisfying form of retribution transcends mere achievement. It matters little whether they notice it. Master the essence within, let go of the external. The Stoics imparted wisdom on how to categorize life into two distinct realms: your choices, your thoughts, your mindset. These are the realms within your grasp. What lies beyond your grasp is their perception of you, the words they utter, and the actions they take in this moment. Seeking retribution falls into the latter category. It grants them emotional access, while simultaneously pulling you out of alignment. Yet what of indifference? It belongs solely to you. It is beyond the reach of others. Once you possess it, you transform into an unwavering force. In conclusion, your peace remains an unwavering priority. Allow them to speak, allow them to share, allow them to behave as if they have triumphed. For when the dust finally settles and your name fades from their lips, you will continue to build, heal, and evolve. They will continue to seek a response from an individual who has long since transcended the fray. That embodies a profound sense of freedom. That embodies emotional intelligence. Your newfound strength has arrived. They inevitably return. Perhaps not in this moment, perhaps not on the morrow. Yet, there will come a day when the silence becomes deafening, when their fresh reserves dwindle, when the facade falters, and the burden of their own void becomes intolerable. In that moment, they will seek out the final refuge where they once felt a semblance of control. A message will arrive unexpectedly. They will, much like a forgotten photograph, inadvertently reveal their presence, reminding you that they are still there. Yet, a transformation is upon us. There has been a transformation in you. And when their name appears, there is no room for hate in your heart. Fear does not touch you. Anger is a stranger to you. There is an absence of sensation. What compels narcissists to return time and again? Let us dissect this with unflinching precision. Narcissists have no longing for your presence. Your absence is keenly felt by them. The heartfelt response, the affirmation, the mastery. You reflected their fantasy back at them. Your silence fractured that reflection. Thus, upon their return, it is not due to any personal growth they have experienced. Their latest attempt at manipulation has faltered. They recall the simplicity of days gone by. They do not come back for affection. They come back for an advantage. The strength found in remaining unperturbed. An individual caught in the grip of their past traumas would experience a sense of being triggered. What is it that they desire now? Am I to reply? Perhaps they have transformed, however. An individual who has engaged in profound self-reflection, who has reconstructed their sense of self-worth and established firm boundaries, experiences none of that. Closure is not a necessity for them. They represent the conclusion. Their silence speaks volumes, and their tranquility stands as the sentinel. The essence of Stoicism. Only you hold the power to let the past intrude upon your present. Marcus Aurelius penned, "Opt to evade harm, and you shall not experience it." You have transcended the version of yourself they once sought to control. You have elevated your status. You have found your way to healing. And now, you stand invincible against the very games that once brought you to your knees. When they attempt to return, remember that it is not your responsibility to clarify, justify, or rehash the conflict. It is your responsibility to maintain your inner tranquility and declare, "This door is no longer yours to approach." A true narrative, the quiet departure that blossomed into resilience. Allow me to recount a moment that many might find familiar. For 4 long years, Alex found himself ensnared in a toxic relationship, manipulation, deflection of responsibility, relentless emotional turmoil. At last, she turned her back, the weight of betrayal heavy upon her heart. Half a year without a word exchanged, fresh routines, a fresh beginning, a fresh perspective. Then the words arrived. "Greetings, I've been reflecting on you. I trust you are doing well." The former iteration of Alex would have wept, experienced a sense of bewilderment, perhaps even replied, yet in that moment she glanced at the message, a faint smile gracing her lips, and with a decisive flick she erased it from existence, unburdened by hesitation. not from a place of bitterness, but rather from the profound understanding that there is nothing left to which she can return. Such is the serene power that Stoicism bestows upon you, the ability to shut a door gently, avoiding the harsh sound of a slam. What causes their anxiety in the absence of your reply? The unspoken truth that narcissists will always keep to themselves. There is an expectation for you to reestablish communication. The anticipation is that the anguish will draw you back in. They anticipate that guilt will compel you to provide an explanation. They anticipate that the familiar emotional tether will continue to hold sway. Yet, in the absence of a reaction, when your quietude remains unwavering, they become unsettled. It is not the absence of you that haunts them, but the relinquishment of their dominion over you. They come to understand that you have transformed into something beyond their control, a serene individual, firmly rooted, possessing a deep understanding of emotions and the ability to maintain healthy psychological boundaries. And that instills a deep sense of fear within them. You have transcended the person they once deceived. The version of you that once tolerated, explained, and forgave too swiftly has vanished. At this moment, you cherish your inner tranquility above the approval of others. Recognize that not every apology warrants a reply. Guard your energy as if it were a treasure, for indeed it is. You've arrived at a moment when silence ceases to be a strategy. It embodies a way of living. There is no necessity for punishment. There's no need for you to hold on to them in your memory. They will carry the weight of your absence in their hearts forever, as you embrace the tranquility of never requiring them again. Releasing what no longer serves us is not a sign of frailty. It is the pinnacle of skill. There's no need for animosity towards them. There's no necessity to emerge victorious in the debate. There's no need to caution the next individual. One must inevitably press onward. Serene, attentive, and unwavering. That is the path to victory. Not by retracing steps and validating anything, yet by constructing a life that soars beyond their grasp. That is the essence of emotional intelligence. That embodies psychological resilience. That embodies a profound sense of self-control and resilience. You did not bring about their ruin. You chose not to reveal them. You didn't even make an effort to retaliate against them, and yet they are unraveling. It begins with a whisper, minor setbacks, broken bonds, a reputation that begins to decay from within. Whispers spread like wildfire, casting you as the source of all troubles. Yet now they find themselves unable to grasp anything steady. The tempest was never a reflection of your essence. The tempest was the secret they concealed, and now existence is unraveling each layer. The cycle of life begins from within. Let us establish a singular point of clarity. One need not subscribe to the whims of mystical karma for the fabric of reality to unfold as it does. There exists a concept known as psychological karma. A chain of consequences unfolds when one turns against the principles of goodness, loyalty, and truth. When an individual deceives, twists the truth, and exploits others for personal advantage, they cultivate a sense of disconnection within their own being. Initially, it remains unseen. Yet, as time unfolds, it manifests in the erosion of trust from those in their vicinity, the struggle to maintain genuine connections, the incessant whisper within that denies them peace, a presence that subtly accompanies them into each space. They attempt to conceal their misdeeds beneath a veneer of charm, a shroud of silence, or the allure of distraction. Yet existence possesses a peculiar talent for gathering what is owed, not always with flames, but with a gradual, suffocating unraveling, the viewpoint of Stoicism. Your harvest reflects what you allow to persist. Stoics hold no faith in the realm of magic. They hold a conviction in the principles of natural law, where cause and effect are intricately woven into the fabric of human behavior. Aristotle once remarked, "Every guilty individual is their own executioner." In essence, Those who inflict harm are not evading consequences. They are merely postponing the inevitable downfall. They bear it as if it were a burden concealed from view. Yet there lingers guilt, shame, and fear. These substances possess corrosive properties. They gradually undermine tranquility from within. As you embark on your journey of healing, building, and transformation, they remain ensnared in the labyrinth of their own making. A true narrative. The concealed downfall. Allow me to introduce you to a man by the name of Kevin. He betrayed his partner's trust on several occasions. She was manipulated into doubting her own reality, shattered her self-assurance. He departed, feigning a newfound sense of freedom. Initially, it appeared as though he had emerged victorious. A fresh romance blooms. A fresh opportunity awaits. A fresh way of living. However, 3 years later, that new girlfriend departed, attributing her decision to his emotional unavailability. His work performance declined. Longtime companions began to distance themselves from him, tainted by the shadow of his reputation. There was no mention of it anywhere. There is no public scandal, merely the hushed, inescapable downfall of an individual who believed he could escape the essence of his being. In the interim, the woman he had wronged. She had reconstructed her existence. She had transformed into a person that even she struggled to identify. She remained blissfully unaware of the struggles that weighed heavily on Kevin's heart. She remained indifferent. By the time life had dealt its hand, she had already found her freedom. Why it was unnecessary for you to intervene. This is the moment when emotional intelligence comes into play. They could have been revealed. A warning could have been issued to all. Every bridge they attempted to cross could have been reduced to ashes. Yet you chose not to. What is the reason behind this? You have come to a profound realization that has the power to transform your life. There is no need to seek retribution against those who have caused you pain. Life has already taken care of that. In truth, as your detachment grew, it became increasingly clear who the true source of the problem had always been. People started to perceive the truth behind their allure, to observe the patterns. To pose the inquiries you never needed to respond to. Yet, throughout it all, you remained quiet. Your growth was relentless. You remained motionless as the turmoil pursued them relentlessly. Indicators of their gradual disintegration away from the public eye. Their demise might remain shrouded in silence, never to grace the digital realm. Yet, this is frequently the way it appears, subdued, fierce commentary on insincere individuals, endless transformation, fresh circles of companionship. Fresh opportunities await, fresh narratives, excessive revelation, or utter stillness. Two polarities concealing a fragmented self-solitude masquerading as self-focus. And deep within, a void they cannot articulate. For they relinquish something genuine, for the sake of self-importance. Yet existence offers no accolades for such endeavors. The true reward was your tranquility. Let us establish clarity. The antithesis of revenge is not forgiveness. It is tranquility. And that tranquility resonates with a profound intensity. It reverberates. When others observe your tranquility, rooted in reality, triumphant, free from theatrics. There is no necessity to vindicate yourself. It compels them to face a harsh reality. My presence was unnecessary for their victory, and that, dear companion, is a torment they were ill-prepared to face. The anguish of being overlooked, of observing a person they believed they had shattered. Transform into a figure beyond their reach. The cosmos possesses a keen awareness. It requires nothing but patience. The game was never intended to reveal their true selves. It was a matter of ascending to such heights that they laid bare their true selves. Your strength was not derived from conquering them. It arose from the refusal to allow them to alter your essence. And thus we arrive at the ultimate reversal. They turned their backs on you, yet you emerged more resilient. They believed you would crumble. Yet their own existence is unraveling instead. At this moment, liberation is yours. They bear the weight of shadows. Yet you remained utterly inactive. In moments of silence, they may have found amusement at your expense. Turned away your kindness. I took you for granted during your moments of generosity, yet the one treasure they could never take from you is your dignity. Your name may have been tarnished by their actions, yet they never laid a hand on your character. Perhaps they toyed with your feelings, yet they could never touch the core of your being. Dignity is not a gift to be bestowed upon others. It is an essence you take back. The journey of dignity, its loss and rediscovery. Let us speak candidly. In the midst of betrayal, amidst the chaos and emotional turmoil, you may have found yourself engaging in actions that left you feeling a deep sense of shame, yearning for understanding, over-explaining oneself. Shouldering the weight of responsibility that rightfully belonged to another, weeping for a person who never deserved a single drop of sorrow. Such occurrences are part of life. It does not signify weakness. It defines your humanity. Yet behold the metamorphosis. As you take that final step away. In moments of stillness, you embrace tranquility, opting for serenity rather than the chaos of conflict. One starts to gather their dignity, fragment by fragment. Each boundary you establish, each message you choose to overlook, each moment you embrace your own worth, you ascend, not in wrath, free from the confines of ego. Yet within the quiet, there lies understanding and dignity. The essence of emotional intelligence lies in dignity. Dignity empowers you to depart without leaving a trail of destruction in your wake. Allow them to speak freely, without the obligation to reply. To be misinterpreted yet steadfast in one's convictions. Maintain your silence when asserting your perspective threatens your tranquility. It's not merely silence for the sake of revenge. It revolves around silence as a form of safeguarding. There is no longer a necessity for you to be perceived as correct. Finding tranquility is all that is required. In the words of the Stoics, true strength lies in self-control. The correct mindset is the key to mastery. Serenity embodies strength. Dignity serves as the vessel that encompasses them all, the steadfast essence of oneself. In the aftermath of the tempest, a new iteration of yourself surfaces, subtle and serene, more rooted in reality. Increased concentration. More composed. It captures attention. You have chosen to refrain from indulging in gossip now. Not every provocation warrants a response. Your inaccessibility isn't rooted in bitterness. Yet you have chosen to be discerning with your energy. The urge to justify your existence has faded away. For you come to understand that you are not obligated to justify your pursuit of tranquility to anyone. Your performances have ceased. The tendency to elaborate excessively and began to exist from a foundation of profound self-belief. That is what renders you truly unforgettable. It's not about the volume of your voice, yet how elegantly you reconstructed. A genuine moment, the graceful departure. A man named Alina once recounted his tale. He found himself ensnared in a toxic work environment, perpetually manipulated, into doubt, subverted, omitted from significant choices. He made an attempt to raise his voice, strived to embody the spirit of collaboration, strived to achieve equity, yet on a particular day he came to a profound realization. He was not being treated poorly due to a deficiency in worth. He endured mistreatment due to the perceived threat his integrity posed to others. Thus, he undertook the most formidable action imaginable. He turned and departed. Keep it simple. No final remark. This is merely a letter of resignation, a subtle departure. Half a year later, the department crumbled. Significant clients have departed. There was a significant surge in turnover. Yet Alina, he was flourishing, embracing a fresh chapter among those who cherished his company. And perhaps most significantly, he rediscovered his own worth. The strength lies in a graceful departure. Regret may find its way to them, yet they are unable to re-enter. In a fleeting instant, the betrayers come to understand that their connection has been severed, not merely to your time or attention, yet to the core of your being. They recall the way you offered your ear, free from any judgment, how you offered without tallying the cost. Your unwavering loyalty persisted even in the face of their unworthiness, and now that iteration of you has vanished. You did not turn cold. You emerged with clarity. Your heart remained soft and open. Your standards have been elevated, even in the event of an apology. Even if they plead, they do not receive the same version of you in return. The one they betrayed has vanished into oblivion. What can never be taken from them. Let us conclude with this undeniable truth. Your time may have been taken from you. Your love may have been squandered by them. Your trust may have been disrespected by them. Yet they never claimed your essence. Your growth was never theirs to take. Your capacity to rise, rebuild, and transcend the flames was never taken from you. That is the source of their deepest regret. It's not as if you departed, yet they can never find their way back. In every tale of betrayal, there exists a pivotal moment. As the tables shift in hushed stillness, not through a theatrical clash, neither with invoices nor with tirades, yet in the wake of your absence, in the embrace of your tranquility, as you ascend, in that moment the realization dawns upon them. They did not merely turn and leave. They transformed into an elusive presence forever beyond my grasp. And in an instant, your being transforms into a reflection, a mirror that captures all that has slipped away from them, all that was squandered, all that went unnoticed and unvalued. You failed to impart a lesson to them. Life unfolded. You refrained from lecturing. You refrained from gloating. You refrained from sending messages of closure or imparting moral lessons. The silence speaks volumes. Your assent resonates more profoundly than any words could ever convey. The essence of emotional intelligence lies in its profound beauty. One does not respond to injuries from the very source of their origin. You ascend. Allow your fresh reality to resonate with sound. And that fresh reality. No shelter, without any theatrics. Your life remains beyond reach. Guard your tranquility fiercely. Their pain surpasses any form of retribution one might seek. Your development serves as a mirror for them. The very individual they deemed overly sensitive now possesses boundaries that surpass anything they have ever known. The very individual they cast aside. Now strides with a serene assurance and intent. The very individual they sought to shatter, now enveloped in respect, harmony, and profound inner strength, all they can do is observe. From the periphery they fashion the realm of their own. For it is in the moments when you surpass those who have wronged you, there is no necessity for punishment. You transform into the very essence of retribution. An authentic illustration. She embodied the lesson. Let us engage in a discussion about Alex. Her former partner took every opportunity to undermine her. He derided her aspirations, regarded her as interchangeable. Upon her departure, he believed she would return, just as she always had before. Yet on this occasion, she did not. From a distance, he observed her as she crafted her enterprise, enhanced her physique, restored her spirit. In the passage of time, years unfurl. She felt no animosity toward him. There was no necessity for her to do so. She had transformed into someone entirely different. He had once perceived her as fragile. At this moment, he found himself unable to confront her, not due to her threats against him. Yet, her presence compelled him to face all that he had discarded, and therein lies the strength of embodying the lesson. Closure is unnecessary when clarity prevails. A multitude of souls linger for that final exchange. They seek resolution, clarifications. I offer my sincerest apologies. Yet, the reality is this. Closure is not a gift bestowed upon you. It is a gift you bestow upon yourself. clarity emerges. When you release the desire for their understanding, comes forth when the desire for validation fades away. It surfaces when you choose to value your tranquility above the need to prove a point, for it is in the quiet moments that your life finds its way to improvement. Each stride you make resonates with them, even if your footsteps fade into silence. Forever, their remorse serves as their punishment. They might chuckle in the open air, yet they mourn in solitude, not entirely free from you. Yet it is the essence of their transformation that captivates. For when a good soul is betrayed by another, they experience the profound absence of a connection. They forfeit the essence of who they were, the part of themselves that embraced genuine love. You were the story they ended before it truly began, the chance they misunderstood, the gift they mismanaged. Now you have departed, not due to any animosity you felt towards them. Yet, it was ultimately because you embraced a deeper love for yourself. What they experience now is not jealousy. It's not rage, it is a pity. When you transform into the echo of memory. Each time they encounter a soul that echoes your generosity, they recoil. Each attempt they make to replicate the ease with which you provided it, they falter. You were never merely a fleeting moment. You reflected the world around you, a simple test, an expectation they were ill-prepared to fulfill. And at this moment, your presence serves as a mirror, reflecting all the unresolved aspects of their inner selves. You have transformed into the echo they cannot silence. Your silence resonates with an intensity unmatched. Let us conclude this chapter with the unspoken truth that remains hidden in silence. I believed I had left it all behind. Yet they continue to reside within the confines of my mind, yet I find myself excluded from their realm. Your victory wasn't achieved through volume. Your victory was not achieved through cruelty. Your victory came from a place of serene indifference. Through the act of release, by mending with a strength that surpasses the pain they inflicted, and at this moment, you are more than merely a fleeting memory. You are the one they will always remember. They believe that distancing themselves from you would somehow lift them higher. That casting you aside as if you were merely an afterthought would elevate their standing. Yet existence offers no accolades for treachery. Life reacts to the vibrations we emit. Energy is an honest companion. The reverberation of their decisions. It is often remarked that individuals proclaim they are living their best life, even in the wake of the pain they have caused me. And perhaps for a fleeting moment it appears as though they truly are. A gentle smile graces the lips, flourishing on the surface. Yet within, time uncovers all truths. Betrayal transcends mere moral error. It is a rift of the soul. One must never breach the trust that another has placed in them, guide their emotions and depart unscathed. Even if it goes unnoticed by all, even if no one dares to speak it aloud. Life holds on to memories. Ultimately, the reckoning arrives. Justice is not something you pursue. You transform into it. As you ascend. As you craft a life filled with tranquility, intention, and strength, revenge is unnecessary. Your transformation embodies justice, the foundation of your perseverance, the limits you establish, the value of self you restore, the realm you forge in quietude. Everything transforms into a reflection. That mirror lingers in their thoughts, a specter of reflection. It reveals to them not just what has been lost. Yet they never found the bravery to embrace their true selves. You transformed into the essence of their wildest dreams, a manifestation of their unspoken fears. Complementary, impassive fairness. Grounded in a profound strength within, Stoic philosophy does not advocate for vengeance. It refrains from celebrating trivial triumphs. It imparts a sense of structure, cultivates integrity, and emphasizes the importance of patience and foresight. Marcus Aurelius remarked, "The most effective form of retribution is to rise above the one who inflicted the harm." Thus, you remain unresponsive, you refrain from seeking revenge, you ascend. For genuine strength lies in the mastery of oneself. As they observe your quiet radiance, rise above the clamor, and attain immunity to their tumult. That is a loss from which they never truly recover. A tale grounded in reality. When karma appears devoid of retribution, Susan had spent 6 years with her fiancés. He betrayed trust, deceived. Left her in silence without a word of explanation. For months she lingered in anticipation, hoping the universe would respond in kind. Silence reigned and nothing unfolded. Then, on a seemingly ordinary day, she ceased her habitual checking. She ceased to believe in the workings of karma. She began to turn her attention inward. She regained her fitness, embarked on the journey of establishing a non-profit organization, discovered love once more. Not originating from another individual, yet from the depths of her own spirit. Years later, she unexpectedly crossed paths with him. He had put on some weight, appeared weary. Found myself trapped in a job with no future. He offered a smile. She did not. He uttered, "Your success was always a certainty in my eyes." "Behold," she offered a quiet nod, and departed into the distance. That was poetic justice, not due to his suffering. Yet it was due to her remarkable ascent. He could no longer identify the woman he had once shattered. The profound absence, in consequence, without an audience, 1. Lacks a sense of self. Lack of control translates to a deficiency of power. Absence of response signifies absence of significance. And once you fade into insignificance for a manipulator, their universe contracts. Because they do not dwell in tranquility, they thrive amidst the tumult. Your triggers become their sustenance. The perplexity you feel, your responsiveness. Remove that from here. They disappear into thin air. Not in a physical sense, yet on an emotional level. In a realm beyond the physical, they continue to exist, yet not within the confines of your reality. And that was the twist they never anticipated. The door clicked shut. Silence enveloping the space as you chose not to utter a single word. Your growth went unannounced. Your healing was not carried out. You have suddenly become inaccessible. With deep feeling, with vigor and enthusiasm. In a manner that delves into the depths of thought and contemplation. As they quietly navigate the tapestry of your existence, they come to a harrowing realization. You transformed into something beyond reach. Not due to an inability to connect with you. Yet it is precisely because you have ceased to glance behind that is the pinnacle of strength. Your ascent is not born of malice. It embodies self-respect. Let us clarify, your growth was not driven by animosity. It was never about demonstrating the fallibility of others. It was a moment of truly recognizing your own worth and crafting a life from that insight. One does not ascend merely to inflict punishment upon others. You ascend, for you will not dwell in the shadows merely to earn affection. And that in itself is the essence of divine justice. Concluding reflection. There will come a time when they will reflect and declare that I ought to have shown them greater kindness. Yet by that time you will have drifted too far away. In tranquility. With intention, within the embrace of your new existence. Their words will fade into silence, never to resonate again. Closure is unnecessary, or retribution, or fairness. You have embodied all three aspects. You chose not to pursue vengeance. You selected tranquility. You did not succumb to despair. You transformed into a tempest, cloaked in quietude. And now they recall you not for your volume, yet your absence resonates with a volume that your presence never achieved. You have transcended the state of being broken. You serve as the cautionary tale. To all who are observing. Should someone turn their back on you? I utilized you, cast aside as if you held no significance. Embrace this moment as your pivotal change. Avoid the path of vengeance. Refrain from battling to validate your worth. Transform into the individual they never envisioned you could become. Achieve a state of invincibility, unfazed, unreservedly complete. Ultimately, nothing dismantles a betrayer's existence quite like witnessing your flourishing success in their absence, and realizing they are no longer the architects of the narrative they once believed they could command. At this moment, your voice holds the utmost significance. What was your most effective strategy for keeping a toxic individual out of your life for good? Did you maintain a boundary, a pause that spoke volumes, a transformation of perspective that converted your suffering into strength? Impart your insights in the comments below. Your narrative could be precisely what another soul requires to regain their strength this very day. If this video resonated with your very essence, I appreciate it. Pass this along to someone who could benefit from these words. Consider subscribing to Think Stoic 101, a realm where silence transforms into power. And the art of healing transforms into legend. This transcends the ordinary realm of video. A fresh chapter unfolds before you.